Hey, ma'am, what are you doing out here?
Can't you see I'm pregnant? I came for a checkup.
You a citizen of this country?
Yes, of course I am.
How long you been in this country?
I've been here all my life, and I'm expecting my second child.
Hold on, ma'am. You need to stop right there.
I'm just trying to get to my appointment.
I need to see some ID now.
This is ridiculous. Here, it's right here.
Hand it over.
I'm holding it. You can look.
I said give it to me.
Don't grab me.
Ma'am, comply right now. Got it. We need to verify.
Don't move.
Just let me go inside.
Easy, ma'am. Just keep your back here. You're holding me like I did something. We need to ask you a few questions. What's your purpose at this clinic?
I'm here for my appointment, that's all.
Who scheduled it?
Dr. Ruiz, you can check, please. Just let me inside.
We'll confirm that. Stay calm.
I am calm.
It was a hot, sticky day in the city, and Rose was already feeling the weight of the world on her shoulders. Pregnant, anxious, and nervous, she couldn't help but imagine the worst as she walked slowly down the sidewalk, clutching her belly in the heat of the early afternoon. Her husband, Daniel, had been away for business for 2 days now, leaving Rose to manage the emotional roller coaster that was her pregnancy on her own. She had been having trouble lately, sharp pains and discomfort that just wouldn't go away, and the clinic was the only place she could go for peace of mind. But there was something that made her feel uneasy, something far worse than just the anxiety of being a first-time mom. It was the unsettling knowledge that, no matter how much she had worked to better her life, to stand tall as a woman and as an American, there was always something lurking in the shadows: racism. Rose had been born and raised in the United States, her father a civil rights activist who had raised her to stand firm against injustice. But no matter how much she worked, no matter how much effort she put in, there were times when it felt like the world saw her as less than, simply because of the color of her skin. That day, Rose was determined to go to the clinic alone. She had been in pain for weeks, but this time the pressure was unbearable. As she reached the doors of the clinic, she felt her heart race. The anxiety wasn't just from the pregnancy anymore. The memories of times when she had been unfairly judged, overlooked, and dismissed by people who saw her as nothing more than a stereotype, those memories surged within her. She inhaled deeply and entered. But just as she stepped inside, something strange happened. A voice cut through the air, cold and unfamiliar.
"Hey you, stop right there." Rose froze, looking toward the voice. 3 police officers were standing at the door, their uniforms tight around their broad chests, their expressions cold and unfazed. "Can I help you?" Rose asked, her voice trembling slightly. One of the officers, a tall man with a sneer on his face, stepped forward. "This is a restricted area," he said, pointing to the door as if the sign was clear enough for anyone to understand. "You can't come in here." Rose felt a pit form in her stomach. She knew it wasn't just about the clinic, it was about her being there, her being black, her existence in that space that the officer had decided didn't belong. "I'm pregnant," she said, her words soft but firm, trying to calm herself. "I'm here for an appointment. It's urgent. I'm in pain." The officer gave her a once-over, his gaze harsh, dismissive. He barely even listened to her, and without a word, his colleagues moved to block the door further. "We're going to need to check your ID," the officer muttered. Rose felt her blood run cold, as if the very air had turned against her. There was no reason for this, she thought. She had been here before, but she couldn't deny the reality of the situation. They were treating her like a criminal, as if her mere presence here, as if her very breath was a burden to their precious system. She had done everything right, followed all the steps, checked in, and arrived on time, but none of it mattered. Time seemed to stretch. Rose didn't know how long she stood there, her hand pressed to her stomach. Her heart raced faster as each passing second made the pain in her body intensify. Sweat beaded on her forehead, her legs weak. The minutes turned into an hour, and then 2, and then 3. For 3 hours Rose stood there, her pregnancy twisting with every second, her body begging for the relief she desperately needed. She wasn't allowed to go in. She wasn't allowed to see the doctor. Every minute she stood there, her baby twisted within her, the fetus inside her womb turning in ways that felt unnatural and painful. The stress and pressure from the racist officers began to take a toll on both her and the child she carried. After what felt like an eternity, the doors finally opened and in walked someone Rose hadn't expected to see, a man in a suit, looking both angry and pained. It was Dr. Edward Williams, the owner of the clinic. His dark eyes were filled with disbelief as he saw what was happening. He knew Rose. He had known her for years. He had even seen her grow up, seen her fight to build the life she had today. He had seen her as a child, the daughter of an activist, and a woman who had nothing but strength and dignity. He never imagined something like this would happen to her in his clinic. "Officer, what is going on here?" Dr. Williams demanded, his voice low but unwavering. The officer, who had been the most hostile, simply shrugged. "She wasn't cooperating, sir," he muttered, still not fully acknowledging the gravity of his actions. The truth was, they had not even considered the fact that Rose wasn't an immigrant. She was American, born and raised, but they didn't care about that. To them, she was just another woman to be dismissed. As Dr. Williams processed the situation, Rose's breath caught in her throat. Her body had been under intense pressure for hours, and now her baby was positioned wrong. She had never imagined it could come to this. The damage had already been done. The stress, the tension, it was too much. Her baby, her sweet child, was in danger. Dr. Williams turned to the officer, his face pale with fury. "You have no idea what you've done, do you? Do you know who she is?" he said, pointing toward Rose. "She's my sister. This is my clinic, and you—" He took a deep breath, his words raw with anger. "You've just cost yourselves everything." The officers remained silent, their faces blank, not understanding the weight of their actions. Rose was quickly escorted to a private room, but the damage had been done. The baby she had carried with such love and hope was now at risk, and Rose could feel it deep within her. Despite the best efforts of Dr. Williams and the medical team, they couldn't turn back the clock. The damage had been caused by the stress, by the physical and emotional toll of being denied the help she needed. Rose had lost her baby. As the days passed, the weight of the tragedy pressed down harder and harder. The officers were dismissed from their posts, their careers destroyed in the wake of their injustice. The world learned of what had happened to Rose, a woman who was simply trying to get the care she needed. She was no longer just a woman. She became the symbol of everything wrong with the system. A woman who had been denied her rights, a woman who had been refused her dignity. But Rose's story didn't end with her loss. It was only the beginning of a new chapter. She would fight, not just for herself, but for others who had been treated unjustly like she had. She became an advocate, speaking out against the prejudice that people of color still faced in the very places that were supposed to offer care and compassion. She knew that no one else should ever have to go through what she did. And the officers, they had lost their jobs, their credibility, and the trust of the community. Dr. Williams made sure of that. But for Rose, the pain of losing her child would always linger. It would always remind her that the fight against injustice was far from over. And for her, the battle was just beginning.